Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is Leah and Ryan from FeathersElitePigeonAuctions.com, and we want to welcome you to the Wednesday edition of Feathers Elite and Friends. A little later than usual. Ryan got stuck in a bit of traffic. He was doing his hair, but we are here now and we want to welcome you. We are here every Wednesday at some point in the afternoon to talk to one of our Feathers Elite Pigeon Auction breeders, to get you in touch with them, to check in on their season, to see how things are going. We have an absolute amazing family ahead of you this afternoon. I'm going to check to make sure we are live on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm going to send it over to Loft manager Ryan to say hello and perhaps talk about who we're talking about today. Go ahead, Ryan.
Lots of wins from this family. They every time they seem to put birds in the basket, they seem to blow away all the competition. And you see it from the start of the season on. They just ground and pound and win. They got the pigeons. They have the pigeon fingers, the pigeon knowledge. A lot of years of racing, wins, losses, learning. The May family here, these people know their pigeons. And what is so amazing, ladies and gentlemen, while you're getting on here to the YouTube and the Facebook, please like, share, and subscribe and follow these Mays. Follow them along. They get the results. But the most remarkable thing about their results are the people that buy the kits and the birds, they get the results. And it's just a winning formula. Simply one of the very best lofts in the UK, the Sprint Pigeons. But trust me, these pigeons have a lot more than Sprint in them. Leah, I'm so excited to bring them on, but I know you love to introduce them in. I already gave the hint on the Mays. Go ahead, Leah. Bring them on in.
We are so excited today to bring you with our Wednesday Fepa and Friends, the May family. We're going to bring them on here now and want to say a big hello to Darren, Josh, and Ellie. May, hello, guys. Nice to see you on.
Hi, how you doing? So we got the youngest member of the family.
We're doing good, but the question is, you guys doing good? And I see you got the superstar there in the middle.
Yeah,
you're getting tougher and tougher, eh?
Yeah, the youngest member's on tonight, so she's been working hard with the pigeons, so she deserves her place at the table.
Hey, congratulations on that one. And before we start, I wanted to say, how's your dad doing?
He's okay. He's still obviously on his treatment, etc. So he did ask to see if he could come on tonight, but he's just feeling a little bit poorly today. So Ellie's filling his shoes. So from the oldest member of May family to the youngest tonight.
Yeah, hey, look at that, man. 4 people in this family. Let me ask you, since the last time I've been there, a few things have changed. You started off with another racing season. How has your beginning of your old bird season started off for you guys?
Yeah, it's been going really well. From 7 races in the Federation, we've won the Fed 5 times, won a first combine, and some top national positions as well.
Right, and the pigeons. Are your pigeons firing in groups or more individual pigeons? How is it going for you that way?
Yeah, they're in groups again. Most weeks we're taking the first 6 Federation. I think we took the first 11 in the combine. So yeah, they're coming really well as a team.
Yeah, and again, you guys really specialize. You like the sprint racing, correct?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's our sort of our main passion at the moment is obviously the sprint race. Being that we can't get too far at the moment, obviously with the south and obviously getting across to France. So predominantly most of the racing has been sort of up to sort of 150, 180. So I mean, but the results have been fantastic. Team performances. You know, even in the nationals and classics, took the first 5 in the section, and you know, top position in the open. So they're obviously working as a team, whether it's, you know, from 50 miles to 180. That's as far as we've gone at the moment. So we're hoping now that the channel's going to open up and we can obviously start to push a little bit further.
Yeah, and when we talked, and you know, for people that are listening, well, 180 miles is not that far. Let me ask you, what do you think these birds will go for? How far can you get them to go? What's your feeling inside on your own birds?
I mean, there's people obviously winning with our pigeons on the continent, and they're getting 320, you know, 350, with them. So yeah, I mean, we obviously want to push our pigeons a little bit further when we can, and obviously hopefully we will shortly. But yeah, I mean, no problem. Sort of 320, 350. I think that, you know, and I think they'd still be as fast at them distance.
Right. You know, another thing I find so amazing, and maybe you don't see it with a lot of people, but you get a lot of referrals on your birds. Like, oh, I bought a kit. Birds are winning. Birds are winning. People give you a lot of information back, which I think that must help you guys out immensely in your breeding.
Yeah, so yeah, loads of winners again this year. I think up to last weekend we had 29 times first club, 19 times first federation, 3 first sections in the national, a first section at the combine, and then a national winner as well. So that was from the start of the old bird racing season till last weekend.
Wow. You see, Leah, there's nothing but results, and you know when you're on a good line or good families of pigeons is when you're winning with them, and they say, well, oh, it's just you just know how to get the pigeons to win. Well, you're giving pigeons to guys. Guys are buying kits. Birds are going out, and other people with their methods are winning. What do you think it is? It's got to be all pigeon.
Yeah, and obviously the lines that we're breeding around and obviously sort of cultivating into our own made family of pigeons that have been tried and tested by ourselves and some other people, and then we're sort of making the family around them lines, the winning lines, the best lines. So hopefully, you know, we're always trying to find something that's, you know, to add into it that's going to be as good. But at the moment, what we're cultivating is working, and it's working for us and obviously a lot of other people as well. You know, the results. Some of the people that have got pigeons don't tell you all the results. You suddenly get a call, you know, 2 years down. Oh,
Hey, could you imagine if people were completely honest and told you from all the results? I mean, you're getting a lot of feedback, which is great. But again, like you say, a lot of people hold things back. Question for you: this race season, have you had any down moments? Has anything gone off the rails that you had to adjust? Anything like that, or has it just been completely smooth sailing?
Yeah, I mean, so we stick. You know, our method is our method, and we stick to it because we know it works. And if it's not working, then obviously we wouldn't change it. We'd continue with it. But really, from day one that they fired, and you know that they've been getting better and better each week. So you know, we stick to what we're doing, and hopefully the performances will stay. So I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, so we're sort of, you know, we carry on with the way we are, and hope to the end of the old bird season, hopefully we get some more good results.
Yeah, and what have you guys been finding been hitting for you more, cocks or hens?
It's been quite equal this year. It's been quite equal. We've had obviously big drops of pigeons, so we have cocks and hens come together. We've got a few good hens which are coming really well, but then again we've had some cocks which have been there every week. So I think whereas last year it was a lot of hens coming, but this year it's been quite equal.
Very nice. Very nice.
Now, question for you guys. I know you had said the whole thing with the France and the Brexit and the where you're able to fly. Has that, because we're here and we're not quite sure how it has affected you all there, but we have talked to John Gladwin from Formula One a little bit about it. But I'd like to get your input because I know we have a ton of fans, which we are so thankful for in the UK, and I think it affects you guys. And I'd like to know your thoughts on how has the whole France thing affected your racing season?
But I think that obviously it's affected. I mean, obviously for us with our sprint team is obviously hasn't really affected us at all because obviously that they, you know, they only go inland anyway. It's affected us more with the obviously the team of channel pigeons that we've sort of got sort of standing on standby waiting to race. But I mean, I think obviously now it's sorted. I think that they've had a trial race last weekend just to make sure they can get into France, etc. So I think that as long as you've obviously got the relevant documentation, that there's going to be no problems to go across the channel now. So hopefully, I mean, there's some people that agree with it, some people that don't. I mean, obviously, and it's everyone's choice whether they take up obviously the death of registration or not. But I think that for us, we've obviously registered and we're looking forward to it. So I think that, you know, the RPRA, Ian Evans, have worked tirelessly to get where we are. it's been a difficult sort of time for a lot of pigeon fanciers, but there's obviously a big call for people to race off road, and people obviously choose where they want to go. But I think for us personally, we're looking forward to going across the channel and obviously testing our pigeons a little bit further. So yeah, I think that probably in about a couple of weeks or they're looking to go across the channel. So yeah, I mean, for us, it's all good, and we're obviously all for that. So yeah, there's lots of positivity in our camp.
Yeah, awesome. And as far as your results go, and as far as your references go, I know there's one thing that I can be sure of that pretty much every Sunday or Monday morning, I'm going to get a notification on my phone that says the Mays either have a fantastic result from the weekend or some amazing references. The consistency of you guys and your pigeons so far has been amazing. I mean, as you know, we're a little new with working with you. We worked with you in the fall or in the winter time. We did the auction. But I'm telling you, the reports from not only yourself, but from others in the UK that fly your pigeons and the references and results that I'm getting from them. I'm astonished, guys. I mean, you guys are doing awesome. You're having a bang up beginning of first season, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's going really well, and as I say, we try and pride ourselves in obviously giving people the best pigeons we possibly can, because we want people to have winners. And at the moment, the percentages are high. We work on percentages, and at the moment, every weekend, if obviously, hopefully, we're obviously doing well ourselves. But it's great to hear obviously people, and winning with our pigeons, and some people that haven't been winning with any pigeons, they've obviously invested with us, or that now they're winning. So that's always nice, So it's not just the top fanciers that are doing well. There's people that have obviously sort of took it on board to buy some pigeons from us, and they're reaping rewards. So that's nice for us.
And
and again,
sorry, Ryan. Go ahead. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay. I'll say my part and then you'll say yours. And that's what I was so impressed by. Darren and Josh. I was impressed by just the number of just like regular everyday flyers, like your regular backyard flyer, along with your professional. I mean, you're reaching everybody. It seems like everybody in the UK has got May pigeons because I'm seeing fantastic results from other people who are flying your pigeons. And to me, that is very satisfying. I'm like, okay, we picked a good one. Like that's great. I'm really happy, and I'm really happy to see that the other people who purchase your pigeons, breed from them, and then produce are also reporting results from your pigeons. I love it when other fanciers give other fanciers props. And
Yeah.
I see that all the time with you guys, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
I,
feeling.
I wanted to add. I'll go ahead, Josh. Go. Then I'll add. Go ahead.
Great feeling.
Go.
Saturdays or Sundays, you get messages come through of people's results, and like there'll be, I won the club with one bred by you, or bred from your pigeons, won the fed, won the section, and then in this case again we had a national winner for Ricky Turner a few weeks ago, which was bred by us. So yeah.
And speaking of Ricky Turner, we have him on the line here now, and he says, "Best pigeons I have raced." And well done, not only to May Pigeons, but to Ricky Turner for such fantastic results. Bravo. Everybody in the comments, give Ricky Turner a round of applause. He had some great achievements. I think it was last weekend. Remind me, guys.
I think it was two weekends ago that he
2
won the
weekends?
B. Yeah, but he's been flying a fantastic pigeon. He's won the Fed quite a few times, and the last few years he's been doing really, really well. So well done to him. Really good flying.
Fantastic. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Ryan.
and I wanted to say, the May pigeons are great. The May family is great, but you know what's really great? When the people give them the information back. It takes a certain person to say, hey, I won with your pigeons. Maybe I have other pigeons, and they haven't been doing nothing, and I get these May pigeons and they win. It takes something to say, hey, thanks. I got a pigeon from you, give you that reference. That's the class of people. That's number one in my books. But guys, another reason why these two right here, 3 and 4, your grandfather's not there, your dad's not there, but These guys go out and look for the very best pigeons. They're never happy. I see them sitting there and the wheels are turning. They're not sitting back on what they have. They're got to say, there's got to be something better than what we have. And I know that's what you guys think. And I know there's something going on up there. These guys are not happy. If they've won 5 in a row and they lose, they want to win every race they go into. When the birds go in the basket, they go to win. Am I right?
Yeah, of course. We tend to win. The second is the first loser. So, we're always after better pigeons. We've got a few pigeons this year that are from another loft that we're testing our own. Good enough, they might not be, but we'll soon see. We're obviously sort of 6-7 weeks away from seeing what we got. So yeah, I mean, we're always looking for something better. But at the moment, everything that we have tried and tested has not come up to scratch of obviously the people that obviously we're winning with, other people are winning with. So we keep trying though. We keep trying.
And I just wanted to, before we get to the questions, and I do want to encourage everybody who is tuned in, don't be shy. If you have questions for Josh or Darren May, or perhaps Ellie, or for Loft Manager Ryan, please put them in the comments. This is your hour to ask our professionals their thoughts on whatever pigeon racing related questions you may have. We encourage you to please put your questions in the comments. We have Flick Ghost from YouTube asking, Maze, do you still do your young bird sickness method or have you changed it? Now, guys, before we let you answer that question, you were kind enough to share a recipe for some young bird medication remedy, and we shared it with our fans and our friends both on our Pioneer Club and on our Feathers Elite page, and we had so many positive comments. People used it, it worked, it was fantastic. We're gonna have to bottle that, I'm telling you. But let me know, do you still do it the same way? Let us know, because everyone's dying to know here.
Yeah, no, exactly the same. I mean, we obviously touch wood. We haven't had young birds. So we haven't obviously had it at the moment, but yeah, it's the first sign of it. Then that would be the first thing. So yeah, no, it's still the same. And other people that have friends of mine that have gone down with young bird sickness have obviously done exactly the same thing. Again, within 3 to 5 days it's gone. So yeah, it was the first sign we.
Well, we use it in our Pioneer One Loft race. We've been using it. We've been taking birds in the last month. I know Loft Manager Ryan and Loft Manager Richard, they have been utilizing your formula in our lofts. And I know, Ryan, you see the difference, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's good. And when I made it for the birds, put it into the drinker. I've tried it myself. It's not bad. I mean, I wouldn't go out and drink like gallons of it, but you can drink it. It doesn't. It's not bad. Everything I mix for the pigeon, if I put something in the water, any medication or anything, I always try because I want to know, hey, what am I tasting? What are they tasting? But no, I think it's a good product, and it's natural. It doesn't affect at all. It's good.
So, guys, yes, they are using the same formula, which does work. We have used it, and we do recommend it. Angelo Dios Quintero from YouTube, one of our Pioneer participants. Nice to see you on, Angel. He says, Good afternoon. I am new in the sport. My young birds are beginning to mate. Should I separate the sexes or keep them together? The first race is mid-August. Guys, what do you think? Maze?
Yeah, I think that if they're starting to pair up, I mean, obviously just separate the hens and cocks and just use that to your advantage. Obviously on a sliding door system where obviously on a couple an hour before you're going to basket, then obviously let the hens and cocks back together and give them a little bit of motivation that way. So I mean, yeah, it can work as a good thing. If you separate them now, and obviously if it's August, you're not far away. So yeah, I think you use it for motivation, and then obviously once they return, let them play together, and then split them again for the following week. So yeah, it could be a good thing.
Loft Manager Ryan, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I know Angel's birds are in our loft. He's got a pair. They're mated up in the corner on the floor. They're together. you can, you can leave them together now for a while until you get maybe 3 weeks before the first race or 2 weeks before, and then separate them a bit. I don't. Either way, whatever you want to do, you may find they won't loft fly as good right now when they're getting paired up because all they want to do is play around on the board. I know one thing interesting about the maze, you guys like to fly younger pigeons. You don't. Your first and second rounds, you normally go out to people, and you normally fly the later rounds. Isn't that correct?
Yes. So our first youngsters arrive into our loft around the 15th of March. So the youngsters, even the first ones now that have been in there since that day, they're still not flying. They're still just walking around the garden, and they obviously just fly from the garden to the roof and then back down to the garden until I take them off the darkness around the 20th of June. Then obviously work starts. So from then on, then they get the kick in the air, and then they'll be made to obviously to fly after that date. But for now, I'm happy for them just to walk around, build themselves up, grow strong, eat what they like until the work starts around the 20th of June. So yeah, I mean, I'm not one for young birds flying early. I mean, there's a guy come this afternoon, Danny. He sat there and he was like, "Oh wow, they're still just walking around." So, but we do it, and suddenly there's a big momentum around that date, and then then work starts, and hopefully we get the results that we've had in previous seasons.
Well, yeah, and it works for you what you guys do. It makes sense. You don't want to have your young birds. I think you don't want to have your young birds rambling in April for 3 hours, and your first race is in August. You kind of hit a flat line. You want to build up to the hill, and I think that's exactly what you're saying. It's a steady. You walk around up on the roof, couple loops, land, and then all of a sudden, when you come off that dark, you start to peak them up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I don't want my youngsters now. I wouldn't want them flying an hour and a half. Some people do. I mean, obviously each their own. For us, we like to take our youngsters steady, and we want them to grow and be kids, not be adults. So I want them to mature. Why they're obviously not doing too much, obviously why they're molting, and through the darkness, I just want them to have a good life until work starts. And some people will disagree with me, but that's the way we do it, and our results don't lie. So what way we do it, it works for us.
And guys, again, remember, not only do the Mays win with their pigeons, but all the birds that go out, all the reports, they're all not flying Darren and Josh's way. They're flying totally different styles, different systems, different motivation, and people are getting the results. That means super good quality pigeons. I know when I came to your place, first and foremost, I got to thank the man from Ireland.
I was just going to say, we have to thank.
Don't come for me. Don't come for me. No, he said you get on a plane and you go to England, and he says you're going to meet one of the smallest Englishmen you've ever met. When I seen him, oh man, Darren was the big man. Man, he has the results, and again, they're elite breeders, second to none. And the whole system, their whole breeding system as well, on how they do it, it's pretty interesting. I mean, to make the elite, you got to be good, and all those birds in there were jaw dropping. Results. Leah, I'm sure there's more questions, but I always
there's
drool,
tons.
so go.
There's tons. I have a backlog of questions. I think they're all for Ellie. She looks a little bored, but I think they're all for Ellie. But no, and I just wanted to reiterate, how do we find our breeders? Sometimes it's by results. We might look at results and keep following a breeder's results and be like, hey, I think this is someone we should bring on. Other times it's our other Feathers Elite auction breeders that say, hey, you want a good flyer? Go to this guy. And it was Derek Walsh who put the bug in our ear about May pigeons. And I'm telling you, we couldn't be happier. He was dead on the nail. I mean, Derek Walsh will never lead you wrong, but so super impressed. A second stop, I think. Was it your second stop, Ryan, on the European tour? Was the Maze? It was the second stop.
Was the Maze. Yeah, that was right.
And
It was a
we had never worked with them, never interacted with them, never knew them, and we were just Ryan called me, I think within a half hour of the time he was there and said, "Oh yeah, they're the ones." So, thank you Derek
we
Walsh because awesome family and awesome family of pigeons. Tracy is asking to Darren and Josh, what would be the most important thing you would tell a new flyer getting started? And I want you both to answer. So either or.
Yeah.
Josh or Darren, either one. Go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, obviously find if you're looking for pigeons, so find someone that wins with pigeons. You know, there's obviously there's families of pigeons. Everyone's got the same pigeon, but you want the winning ones. So look for results and look for consistency. If you can find good results and consistency with the person that you're buying pigeons from, then you're in a good place, because generally, you know, that should sort of come along and bode well with you. So yeah, that would be my first stop, is to find someone with winning results and consistency.
Good point. Josh, you're up.
Again, obviously what Dad said, but find a routine and stick to your routine. What works for you. I think that with pigeons, routine and love for home are two of the most important things you can have in a loft. So just stick to what you do, and if it's working, don't change it.
I'm fully agreeing. Again, it's so much common sense. It's simple, but people really make it more complicated than what it really is. And I think the other thing too is, don't you guys think what new people, they get caught up listening to too many people? Like, you know, you listen to me, then you listen to you, then you listen to Formula One. You're getting all the ideas. You kind of overload. Just sort of pick something. Don't go too many places.
I think everyone can. I think everyone's got their own ideas. I think there was, we'd all be doing the same thing. But I think that sometimes if you're a new starter, then look at what he does. Look what he does, and look what he does or she does, and then take a little bit from everyone, put it together, and try and make it work for yourself. And obviously, pigeons are very easy. It's only us that complicate it. We make it complicated, and I think that if you simplify things and put simple things that work around your schedule, your work time schedule, etc., you can make yourself a method that works and will be a winning formula. Because you've took little bits from this person, that person, put it together, make yourself a system and stick to it. Because obviously, like the first thing I said, if at the moment our results are really good, we stick to the same method because we know it works. Even if it didn't work, we'd still stay with it, because if you change it, then obviously you're complicating things yourself.
I cannot, I'm just going to interject here. I cannot agree more. I think for people who don't watch these shows, you're really missing out. That is an invaluable piece of information right there. I think we absolutely overcomplicate this. I think we make it far more difficult than the pigeons ever even need it to be. Just keep it simple. Use your common sense, right? And I think that's what you're saying. The pigeons are very adaptable. I think it's the humans that
Yeah.
add all of the twists and turns and complications into it. They're so adaptable. Do you not agree?
Yeah, I mean, listen, a pigeon relies on you for everything. The pigeon can't go to the cupboard and get himself his food. He can't go to the tap and get water. So he relies on you to do everything. So whatever way that system that you choose for yourself, the pigeon will work with you. And then you've got to get there. Obviously, once you get the best from the pigeon. The more time that you spend watching them eat, etc., is gold, because the pigeon will tell you whether you've had enough. Is like, well, you've had enough, or they have. Do they need more? But a lot of people just go in there, put corn in there, they water them, and they walk away. And the best time for me is to watch the pigeon individually and see what they're doing, how they're reacting. Have they eaten? What seeds are there? So I've got pigeons there that I know their form, and I know their character, and I know when they're going to be on form and if they're going to race well, because the way that they've fed. Just silly things. You might have ate the big corn, you might have left the seed. it's there, and if you continue to look and watch, they tell you themselves what sort of form they're in. You know, so again, you can. It's as easy or as hard as you want to make it.
That's right. People say, well, the pigeons don't talk to me. The pigeons don't talk to me. I can't understand pigeon. Be quiet. Go in your loft. Feed your pigeons. Watch your pigeons loft fly. Sit there and watch. And the more you watch, they will actually speak to you. They will tell you, hey, I want some more grit. Hey, oh man, I really want the corn, or I want the peanuts, or I want more of this. I want more of that. I'm drinking a lot of water. You see it all. You watch how they fly. They're dipping and diving. They're telling you how they feel. They will talk to you. Exactly as Darren and Josh say, you have to let them speak to you by watching, listening, smelling, and they will tell you. Leah, what's next up on the questions?
Okay, next up on the questions, of course, back to the young bird sickness remedy. tons of questions on that. How strong, guys, exactly is the iodine that you put in? Is it 10% iodine or 7%? Ryan, you even had the same question. How much
I mean,
iodine?
we use 10% iodine. 10%.
10%.
10% iodine. So 10% strong iodine. So I'll get it from the ball shop. So
Yep.
10%.
That's the same one we're using. The same one we're using. It works. It does work. It's good with the milk.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, if you stick to it, and obviously, you know, at the first sign, I mean, sometimes you know, with young bird sickness, you'll think you're over, and then about a week later, you know, might get another one that goes down with it that is obviously incubated at a different rate. So after that, then put them back on it. You know, you could. There's no sort of time scale to say, well, you've got to do it for that, and then it's finished. So some things happen at different times.
Right.
Go ahead,
And
Ryan.
my other question is, and I think this is being honest, you can give this formula. It's there to help cure them, get them through it. It doesn't mean every pigeon comes through it.
No. I mean, I think sometimes that if I think the milk obviously sort of like lines the crop and obviously stops anything, you know, going into the bloodstream and getting septicemia and obviously blood poisoning, and I think that's the fatalities. But if that process has already started before you give it, it's not going to stop it, obviously, but it will prevent the rest of them from getting it bad and obviously ending up with fatalities. So I think that at the first sign, you know, the first time you walk in there, there's a little bit of corn on one of the perches, put them on. You know, it's a prevention sort of cure that will help the pigeons. You know, you might catch it before you do start getting, you know, stage 2.
That's right. And remember, we're not saying this is guaranteed, but if you're watching, you see it, hey, put your birds on it. You're going to help the internal system of the pigeons. You might not, you know, if you don't give it, hey, you might lose 50%. If you give it, you might lose 5%. It might save you. You're not going to save them all, so just remember that. We're not saying, hey, this is 100% guaranteed going to knock it out of the park. Get on it.
No, I mean, there's, you know, I don't think there's anything out there that you can actually say that is going to, you know, stop, you know, sickness overnight. But this does work, and it obviously, as you said, you know, the first time put it on there, but it's not going to be 110%. You know, there's nothing out there that's actually going to actually do that. But it's a prevention.
Because you'll always have pigeons, young birds in your loft that will have a lower immune system than the others, and they're always going to be fatal from it. Whereas the other ones may have been, but this is stopping it from that. But there's always going to be the ones which have got their immune system's too low to save them from it.
And I can't agree more. And I just want to interject here to say, since we have unleashed your recipe for your young bird sickness remedy, we have had people contact us to say they tried it and it worked. Maybe it didn't treat all of them, but it certainly had an astounding effect on the rest, far more than whatever else they were using. So, on that note, I want to thank you guys for giving us that super helpful tip, because if it helped one person and it saved one pigeon, from going down the young bird sickness hole, I want to thank you for giving us that and
Yeah,
allowing our followers to learn about that. So thank you for that.
yeah, it's no problem. At the end of the day, you've got to share knowledge with everyone, and that's if you can help someone out, then
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
about the
Awesome.
family.
Awesome. Gaz Pigeonhole from Facebook asks, how often do you treat your youngsters for canker?
So my youngsters at the moment haven't had any treatment at all. So since they was weaned from the start of mid March, I will start to treat them on the day after the 20th. Then I will treat them for canker, doxy, respiratory. They get all the treatments before they race, and then they won't get treated until obviously next year, unless there's a problem. I like to treat my youngsters before the racing season starts. I don't like to give medicines to fit pigeons and pigeons that don't need. As I said, the vet always told me, if you, he said to me, if you got a cold, I was like, no. He said, well, if you did have a cold, what would you take? And I was like, well, I'd take a Lemsip or paracetamol. He said, so if you haven't got one, would you take the medicine? I said, no. He said, and pigeons are no different. So I think sometimes we overcompensate and we treat for stuff that we don't need to treat for. So for me, I as I say, I will treat from around about the 20th or 21st of June. I will start all my treatments once I start getting the pigeons, moving, and then they won't get treated again through the racing season unless there's a problem. So.
And
Common
just
sense
for
again.
a reference point for our viewers, when do you guys start your young bird racing season?
So the first race for us, I think, is about the 28th of July.
28th of July. So you're now preparing them, correct? Are you you're starting to prepare, right?
Yeah, well, so at the moment they're obviously doing very little. They've never flown. So, and I'll say I won't do anything with them until I take them off the darkness. Then obviously I'll fly. Then obviously I'll strip the weight off them, and obviously I'll treat them with obviously all the treatments before the first race. After the first race, they won't get any more treatment unless there's a problem.
So at
Yeah,
the
common
moment
sense.
right now, your youngsters, what are they doing right now? In your loft,
Eating.
if I was to come visit you, what are they doing right now?
They're eating, getting fat, and walking around the garden. That's all they do.
Yeah.
So they're getting fat, they're enjoying where they live, they're loving where they live. That's what I hear from you, right? You're just
Yeah.
getting them familiar, getting them grounded, breaking them, making them love where they live, correct?
Yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, so we just give them a lovely time. At the moment, it's like a holiday. It's a holiday camp. They can eat as much as they like. They can, they obviously I only at the moment they get molasses in the water. And they get garlic and ginger. That's what they get. And perhaps the odd multivitamin once a week. Other than that, that's all they get. And then obviously they're allowed to do, just wander around the garden. So I don't want them doing anything until I take them off darkness. But then once they come off darkness, then the real work starts. So at the moment, it's like a holiday camp.
So you leave them in the darkness, and then once you take them off darkness, then you drop the hand. Like when do you start train? Like my question is, like, do you leave them in the darkness and then start training, or you're training throughout the darkness?
No. So that's not even flying at the moment. So at the moment, they're obviously just walking around the garden. They haven't flown at all. I mean, people think that when I say that they are flying, but they're actually not. So it's they do very very little up until I start to move them after they come off the dark. That's when playtime finishes and work starts.
Go ahead, Ryan.
What it is they're letting them fully develop through the molt. They're letting them molt, put those new feathers in, molt out, get fat. By eating good, the feathers come on super quality. Now they're going to be fat little potatoes, but that's okay because a week of light mix when he takes them off the dark. Once he starts to pull the weight away, the birds now naturally want to go up. Once he takes them out of the dark, about a week to 10 days, they come into another set of form. Get a little bit of motivation, get them up going, and bang, they're rolling. And
Yeah.
again, he's starting to go up the hill. He wants to do everything in one motion.
Yeah. So for me, I want one sort of, like you said, Ryan. I want one sort of wave of form. So the wave starts off and then it turns into a tsunami at the end, because obviously, rather than having them, flying for an hour in January or February or March, and then the times you get to July when the racing starts, they're burnt out. They don't want to know. So for me, it's a small ripple and it turns into a tsunami at the end. And that's how over the course of a 6, 7, 8 week period, they get everything thrown at them to make them go to the first race in top form.
Hey guys, and I can attest to this. I was with Darren and Josh at the hotel at the bar the first night we did a little live, and that's exactly how it started. It was a little ripple at the bar, and by the end of the night, we had a whole tsunami. it was a great time. Sorry,
Um,
I had to throw that in there.
That's okay. We have lots of questions for the maze, which we love your questions. Please get interactive. Now is the time to interact with our Feathers League pigeon auction breeders, Darren and Josh May from the UK. Mike Parrish is asking, guys, do you train your young birds hard? Do you do lots of road time or lots of loft flying?
So for us, we have roughly between 10 and 15 young bird tosses, so training tosses. So, but we don't go over 20 miles. So they have to fly. Obviously, once I get them moving, they have to fly to get them fit. Once I think they're fit enough, then we start training. But they'll only have up to the maximum of 15 tosses before they go to the first race.
15 road training tosses. And what is the longest distance you train to?
19
Yeah,
mile. So they'll have the first two 8 mile, and then they'll go on and they'll generally have 8 to 13 tosses at 19 mile, and that's the furthest they go.
19 miles is the furthest you go.
Yeah. So it's all very short, fast
Wow.
work.
Yeah, amazing.
Different way. You guys are hearing it. They don't road pound them. Now with your young birds, what do you expect once you crack the whip to them? About, I don't know, 15 days or 20 days into your building up. How long do you want to see the young birds flying for?
Well, I mean, they've got to do sort of, between half hour and an hour. I only exercise for an hour anyway, once in the morning, once at night. So, they have to, it's much the same as my old birds. If they don't want to fly, they don't want to fly. But they have to show me something at least once a week. They have to show you that, like you say, they have to be darting around or flying as, out of this world for me to be happy. So, and my young birds are the same. Once I've got them fit, if you drew a line and said, right, that's a line and that's the fitness of your young bird, every time you go 50 miles, you drop below the line. So the pigeon can't make it back to the line itself. You have to do that by feeding, etc. So for us, we draw a line, and it's very easy to put a pigeon back to the line if he's not, if he's not flying 2 hours a day, and then he goes at, and then you're taking him training 50 miles, to get to keep the energy levels to where we require it. We feel that we can do a lot of our work at home. We can do it twice a day, and we can, when we do go training, it's more about the actual team sprint home. We don't let them in massive batches. We break them down, but we want to see, lots of vigor in their work when they come from a race, from a training for the race.
Right, and it's just a simple thing that they're getting the birds in condition. They basically want these birds to fire one super time a week, and that's on race day. They don't want them firing on a Wednesday on a 50-mile road toss. That's defeating. They go to battle on the weekend when it's time to race. That's when he has to have them at max form. You use a lot of rest at your place.
Yeah, so look, theoretically, yes, you win your race on a Saturday or your day you're racing, but it's what you do to the pigeons from Monday to Friday is what you win your race. If you do your job correctly in that, then that 4 or 5 day period before the race, the day of the race, then you've done your job properly. And I think the more you hammer them, this is my opinion. You know, the more you hammer them in the week, the less performance you'll get on a Saturday because the energy levels dip. So, and it's very difficult to, you know, you go and have a 50-mile toss and it's not a great toss, and then all of a sudden you're fighting to get your energy levels up. You know, not every pigeon will dip, but most of them will. But I think that if you do your job correctly in the week, then you're in a good place, and hopefully the results will prove that. You know, yeah, some people will disagree with me, but results don't lie, and more the way that we do it, our results obviously prove that we're doing something right.
And you know, guys, the way the Mays talk, it sounds somewhat unbelievable. But if you go back and watch the Loft tour and the sit-down interview, you hear the same thing, the same things they go over. They do this exactly to what they say, and you can hear it in them. But reminder, you need to have real good pigeons. You need to find the good breeders, find the pigeons that work on this system or on your system, and stick with it. Not all pigeons are the same. You got to find the right ones, and these guys, they have them like 100%.
Absolutely. We have a comment and a little statement from Lee Fribbins, which we're going to get to in a minute because we have a giveaway for today's show. Tune in for that. However, before we get to the giveaway and Lee Fribbins' comment, I want to ask a question. Alex George asks any trick to motivated extra birds for long distance? I've got separated the males from the females. So he's already separated hens from the cocks. Any tricks for motivation? I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously long distance is not my forte. So if it was sprinting, then obviously I'd have some answers for you. But I mean, you know, there's lots of things. You know, perhaps the day before, pair them up. You know, give them a load of straw, let them build nests, and you know, let them motivate themselves that way. I mean, you know, that's obviously something that I'd have done in the past with my dad. You know, give them a big bale of straw and let them build nests. You know, as high as they can, and give them a bit of motivation that way.
Yeah, and even put up little teepees, little dark spots if you're going to motivate them. And sometimes the best motivation for distance racing is have them just together, have them calm.
Yeah.
You know, I think with a lot of long distance, I don't know if you need so much motivation. It's a different thought of a pigeon than a sprint. A sprint pigeon, you're gearing them up more than a distance pigeon. Got to be calm. But hey, there's lots of tips out there. Check out some of our videos with our distance flyers, like Emil Denny's, Anthony Van He. Take a look in there. You're going to find all kinds of little tips. Back to you, Leah.
Guys, what is your love? What is your favorite distance to fly? Is it sprint, middle, long? What do you love?
But obviously, for me, it's obviously sprinting. You know, I mean, I love the thrill of obviously the short races where you know you're getting multiple pigeons come together and they're racing each other. You know, they sort of. And for me, I find that our pigeons are having their own individual race. You know, because the amount we get on a drop, or you know, they're having their own. They're racing each other. You know, and that's nice to see when they come spread out racing each other. For me, that's a thrill.
Absolutely. Irish Tomo on YouTube says the most important is when you are starting off as a new racer, always make sure your pigeons have fresh water. I think you guys would absolutely agree with that. He also says one more training your pigeons to land onto the landing board. And don't have them hanging around the loft because on race day they will waste time when they come home. So are
Yeah.
you a flagger when the birds are out loft flying? And they're
No.
not doing what you want them to do? Do you get out there with the flag or the big like puffy ghost thing, or what do you do to motivate them when they're in
No.
the air?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if I mean, obviously, look, you know, we're not massive trainers, so if on a Wednesday, if they haven't showed me enough and I feel that they need, then yeah, then I'll make a fly for at least 45 minutes. But generally, they go up and they fly. But if they don't, then yeah, I mean, I'm happy to push them along because, as I said, they need to show you once a week that the form's there. So yeah, I would.
Absolutely. Lee Fribbins, our Feathers Elite breeder information article writer, also editor of Pictorial magazine. Fantastic. Says, hi lads, hope you're keeping well. Certainly one of the best teams of pigeons in the UK. I look forward to writing an article for Feathers Late in the near future. We look forward to reading it. We're so excited to have Leaf Ribbons on board with the Feathers Late Pigeon Auctions team to write you guys' article and tell your story about your pigeons and your 3 generations, and just awesome. So that's incredible. Alex George, any trick to motivate extra the birds for long distance? I've got separated the male from the. Did we ask that already or no? No, we didn't.
We hit that one already. We already hit that one, Leah. It's okay. Take a deep
All
breath.
right. Sorry. What's the best product for canker and coccidiosis? Guys?
Again, I mean, a lot of Tolleson products. You know, we use a lot of the Tolleson products. They're quite good. I mean, obviously the canker solution that we use is obviously from a vet, so it's like a 40% canker solution. So it's, you know, so it's obviously quite strong. So yeah, I mean, there's lots out in the market that you can use. Tollesons, I think, at the moment are one of the best to use in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, obviously you'll speak to a vet. And perhaps you can get obviously something a little bit stronger.
And do you guys use yellow drops?
Do we use yellow drop? We don't use yellow drops. We use a similar product from another supplier, and we actually do that on a Friday. So we don't do that when they arrive home. We do it before they race.
Okay. Well, how do you administer it, in the nose or in the mouth?
Yeah, in the nose. Yeah, in the nose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trevor Taylor on Facebook is asking, guys, boys, are your young birds on measures of corn or they fed to appetite? And if so, how much per day and how long do they fly for?
Well, at the moment they're on as much corn as they like. I've just sort of reduced it to sort of 75-25. I've obviously a little bit of depurative in there just because obviously I'm sort of a week and a half or so, or 2 weeks away from where I'm going to start to. So I've reduced it to 25% of depurative. But again, they can eat as much as they like at this time. So and they're not flying, so they're obviously walking around the garden. So yeah, at the moment, but they will get the size 13 kicked up in the air very shortly, but it's a week and a half away.
Super.
Excellent.
Guys, please continue to post your questions. We have a giveaway, the first of our Feathers Elite Wednesday Fepa and Friends giveaway. We have a trivia question to ask you guys, and then we're going to do a giveaway. What are we giving away today? We are giving away a autographed copy of the Leaf Ribbons, the Royal Skies. An absolute fascinating look at racing in the royal family in the UK. We thought this was very appropriate, seeing as the Mays are from the UK. We are going to give away an autographed copy of the Royal Skies from Leaf Ribbons. All you guys have to do is answer this question, FIPA trivia question, to win the autographed signed copy. The question is, the first person to answer it correctly is going to win it. Who introduced the sport of pigeon racing to the British royal family and when? You have to the end of the show to put the correct answer in the comments for your chance to win an autographed copy of the Royal Skies, an intricate look at racing in the royal family. You can buy your copy, of course, on I'll put the link in the comments where you can buy the copy, £22.45, and a fascinating look at racing in the UK. Put your responses in the comments. Back to you, Ryan.
Hey, Leah, I'm always getting itchy because, we can talk all day about medicines and theories and forms and tricks and tips and all that good jazz. But I know the man there, Josh, has got a couple birds he wanted to show or talk about. What do we got here? What do you guys got on the menu for today, my friends?
So I've got two of our top racers this year who've been performing every week very well. So we have number 17, who's been a fantastic hen.
Who do we have there? And let's hear the goods.
So number 17, she's yet to be named, but she's a 4-year-old hen. She's bred from her grandson of Spider-Man. So this year alone, she's won first federation, second section in the national, full federation beaten by Loft mate, 9th Central Southern Classic, and 14th national over this season alone. And then she has a second federation, third federation, and a 6th federation beaten by Loft mates as well. So she's won the Fed, and then she's been beaten by Loft mates for the Fed 4 or 5 times, as well as some top national results as well. So she's won.
Could we get the band number on that beauty, please?
GB18N30817. You won't be able to see it.
That's okay.
Don't worry about that. That's fine. She looks super. Not a big hen at all.
No, she's I mean, she's obviously, she traits a lot of the Spider-Man stuff. Where obviously the hens are generally on the smaller side, but she's a fantastic racer. She's really pulled some great results out this season. So yeah.
Now this hen here, you said she's a 4-year-old, right?
Yeah. So basically we race everything for 4 years. They have to do a 4-year term. And obviously, if they're good enough, then they get a place to go to the breeding loft. But she's obviously earned as long as she's still here at the end of the season, she'll earn herself a perch.
Yeah, she's been a very good hen over the years, but I think she's definitely trying to secure a place for the breeding loft this year and her last year.
Yeah.
And question on that hen: how many more weeks of work does she have to do for you?
For about 3 or 4 she's got left. So. She went to got some great classic and national positions this year, and that was her first time across to obviously across to Guernsey. So she'd only ever been inland. So the few I picked out 15 hens to rate across the channel from obviously the sprint team, and obviously a couple of the hens have. It sort of really sort of generated them. The motivation has come back to some of the hens, although she's been a very good hen anyway, but she's been sort of beaten by a few of the other superstars that we've got. But this season, since she's been across there, she's suddenly come to life.
Okay, well, hey, she's a super hen, and again, the bloodlines of Spider-Man, it strikes again. You see it there. What a super quality hen. You see it's tight, hasn't dropped a flight, and a little bit of wiggle and fight to it, but I can tell what a nice hen. Who else you got there, Josh? You got some more pink there, I think.
Yeah, so this is a yearling hen of 2021 bred. She's a daughter of New Jewel and Pretty Pitbull. She's been a very, very good hen this year. I'll pass her to Dad. She won first section in the national, where that last hen was beaten by her for the section by a second. She has a full Fed, a 7th Fed beaten by Loft mates. She was 9th Central Southern Classic, 2,700 birds across the channel, and was 13th National, 6,600 pigeons across the channel as well. So she's really well. So she's a half sister to Olympic Sarah's Jewel and a half sister to Speed Titaness. So yeah, she's doing well for her first year. Obviously, as a yearling, she's been doing very well, and she was a very steady youngster as well.
So this pigeon here, I see the difference between the last one and this one. This pigeon's got a lot more fight in the hands. I think the other pigeon was a little tighter in the hands than this one. Yeah. This one just wants to go.
Yeah.
She handles a lot like her mother, Pretty Pitbull. She's very similar.
Yeah. And they're normally in bed, so it's a little bit late for them.
Sorry about that. We have a bunch of questions, but before I get to that, I know, Josh, you mentioned Speed Tightness.
Yeah.
I believe, did he hit a wire or what happened there? Something happened.
A hawk attack. She's her crop's been ripped open, so we've decided to retire her now. She's performed excellent again this year. Been very consistent. She was 5th section, beaten by those two by a few hens for the section. and she was up in the national. I think she was 33rd, plus a few Fed results again this year. So yeah, we've decided to retire her after her injury because it's put her out for the rest of the year. And
So
she's a
you're
little
just
bit on
gonna,
her.
yeah, retire her to the breeding,
Yeah,
loft, and yeah, I mean, I saw the post and devastated I was to see that, but wow, what a pigeon. Paul Bannon over on Facebook asked, how many young birds do you breed each season?
So for ourselves to race, including pigeons that we generally bring in, so we have a team of around 125, 130, and that includes pigeons that obviously the team bring in to test against our own. So yeah, I mean that's what we generally start off with, around that figure.
Super.
Okay.
Shane is asking, what can I do to stop two young cocks from fighting and going in the other boxes of other pigeons? Because I tried to lock them up, but they still do it whenever I open the boxes. Guys?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously just, I mean obviously one of the cocks is obviously being dominant. I don't know. I mean it's very difficult to stop a pigeon from going in there. Obviously only is lock obviously the cock up. But if you've already tried that, then try locking one of the other cocks up and then giving him the box to lock every cock in and then leave one out, just so the one that's being sort of dominated, so he gets to sort of his motivation to his box, and then obviously he might fight the other cock back off.
Yeah, another thing I learned from Emil Denny's, he has that problem. He says every once in a while, and I don't know if you're racing them now or what you're doing, but if you pull the tail on the cock that's being an idiot, pull the tail on him. When he goes to fight the other birds, they'll push him right out of the box because he doesn't have no leverage with no tail. But again, if you're in the middle of racing, you don't want to pull the tail. But I'm saying if you're not in race mode or whatever, pull the tail on the cock.
Yeah.
That should fix his little red wagon. It's like go to a fight and not having your hands to fight. You're not going to be afraid.
No, great advice. Mark Doran is asking, how many days in the week is there fresh water only? Meaning no supplements, no medication, no nothing. How many days in the week? Fresh water.
For me, never. So if my fresh water is garlic and ginger, so I never give fresh water. Never. I always have garlic and ginger in the water.
Always. Wow.
Yeah, just so
Makes sense.
So if
Makes sense.
it's multivitamin, if the days where I give clean, let's say clean water, that it wouldn't be clean water, it would be with garlic and ginger. So they would never have, my pigeons never have fresh water. Solely, no, never.
So you always, whenever you give hydration to your pigeons, it always contains
Yeah,
some sort of supplement, mineral, vitamin, helpful
yeah,
benefit. Always.
yeah, always, yeah, always.
Awesome.
Yeah, I never have a day where it's just clean water. It's always, I'm not saying that I give, multivitamin every day. If for 3 days of obviously the week, I will have garlic and ginger in the water. So I would never give just clean water. It'll always have that in it.
Awesome. Flick a Ghost on YouTube asks, what would you say are the best supplements on the market today?
But well, I mean, for us, it's obviously Tollus. It's Tollus and
natural
products.
stuff.
Schroeder Tollus, and that's obviously for us the one of the best pigeon products. But most of the products that we would use, you buy at a local supermarket. So
Garlic.
yeah. So the garlic and ginger and some of the vitamins is what we would take ourselves. So if it's good enough for us, if it's good enough for us, it's good enough for the pigeons.
Wow, a lot of common sense, and I will say, you go to those pigeon expos, and there's booths on. I mean, literally, you can buy anything. You'll never try them all, and if you were to buy every product out there, you'd never. Oh man, it's crazy. Too much stuff.
Yeah, there's not enough days in the week to give all the pigeon products. So I think that for us, you know, we try to use as much natural products as we can, garlic and ginger, and then obviously, you know, some of the vitamins that we give, you go to the local supermarket and buy it. And the reason behind that is obviously that we feel that if it's good enough for us, it's good enough for them. You know, why not? You know.
No, absolutely.
And
Don
common sense.
Meredith, absolutely. Don Meredith over on Facebook is asking, guys, how many young bird races do you fly in a season?
So we try to. So we're members of obviously 3 clubs. So with youngsters, I try to split the team into 4, and then you know send to as many races on one weekend as I can to obviously to educate as much as I can for obviously the following season. So we generally it's about 7 or 8 weeks racing schedule. But as I say, we split our team into 3 or 4 and try to have sort of 3 races at one weekend.
Yeah, so each pigeon has 7 or 8 races by the end of the season.
Gotcha. Chris Bonney on Facebook is asking, out of curiosity, during the racing season, how often would the lads road train their young birds? He also says, great interview, by the way. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chris. So, how often do you train your young birds? I'm assuming he means road training.
Yeah, so once we've had maximum would be 15 tosses, you know, as Josh said, you know, two at 8 miles, and the rest would be at 19 miles. Once we've had them 15 tosses, we'd send them to the first race. Then the only time that we'd train that would be the following Tuesday, where I'd give them another toss on the Tuesday after their first race, just to get their head back in the game. Obviously, you know, going from having a training toss to suddenly overnight in a basket, having a race, etc. Sort of, you know, blows their mind a little bit. So on a Tuesday, we give them another little confidence booster just to say, look, you know, this is what it's all about now. And then we don't train again. That's it, finished. No more training. No more training. As I said to you, if I feel that they need more, you know, they need a bit of work, then I'll make them fly on a Wednesday. But other than that, there's no more training. So maximum total that the youngsters would ever train would be 16.
He doesn't road pound them, guys. He does not road pound. He does a lot of loft line, twice a day loft line. He gives them what they need to know, takes them to the 20-mile mark, and that's it. It's pretty simple, but you hear healthy pigeons for sure. The birds are healthy and they're top quality pigeons. You know, when you have super health and you have super quality pigeons, it helps you out quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you listen. Good, obviously, good pigeons get you out of trouble. You know, and I think that for us is, you know, we do a lot of work at home with the pigeons. You know, and then when we do train them, we want to train them as to race each other as, you know, as a small team. You know, and then once we get them to the race, we find that they're racing each other because they're as fast as each other. And then, you know, and the results are coming through where we're getting multiple drops. And you know, we're just a little bit unfortunate that in the federations that we race, we're only allowed the first 6, where we might have a multiple drop of 20. But we try to do a lot of work at home, you know, but not flying for hours. You know, I don't think, you know, look at most sportsmen, you know, footballers or you know, they don't play a game every day, you know, and they do very light training to build up to that one run race. The same as a runner, you know. Mo Farah wouldn't do a marathon every day. So we train and look after our pigeons the same as any other athlete would train. You know, it's not about, for us, again, people would disagree with me, it's not about, you know, hammering them every day. I don't think. I think, yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, people that hammer them early, yeah, they get results for 2 weeks. I want results for 7 weeks.
Again, common sense, and they've been winning. This is how they win. They stick to their game plan. And I know there's, exactly like Darren says, there's people out there, they do the complete opposite. They're pounding 60, 70, 80 miles a day, and they're getting results. Remember, there's a lot of ways to get results. You have to figure out what's going to work for you. Okay? Remember that.
I'm just looking at the clock here and realize we're an hour and 10 minutes in. We still have to talk about Van Loons. We still have the giveaway to do. So, guys, if you have your questions, I don't want to keep Darren and Josh on here all night long, but we are going to get to the giveaway. We're going to get to the talking about your Van Loons because I know our North American clientele is super interested in hearing about your Van Loon family. So get your questions in now, folks. We're going to be on for the next 10 or 15 minutes. Get them in now. I want to say we have a winner of our first Feathers Elite on Wednesdays giveaway. Andy Cook, the question was, and I'm just going to get to this now. The question was, who introduced the sport of pigeon racing to the British royal family and when? Andy Cook, he nailed it. Let me get it on here. Let me do some fancy work. Let's see if I can get it out. You're right, Andy Cook. King Leopold of Belgium in 1886 introduced the first pair of racing pigeons to the royal family, and that's how their passion for the sport evolved. Congratulations. A big round of applause to Andy Cook for getting that right. You will receive a copy of an autograph copy from the author Lee Fribbins of The Royal Skies. An absolute fantastic down the road explanation of racing pigeons in the royal family. I'm going to put the link in the comments on Facebook and YouTube where you can buy your copy. But congratulations to Andy Cook for getting that answer correct. We're going to do a giveaway every single week on Wednesdays. Congratulations, Andy. Please send your shipping information to info@fepa.ca. Josh, who do you have there?
Oh, one more to show. So obviously you've all seen it before, but we have Iron Man again.
Oh
So
boy,
top breed.
my favorite.
Yeah, so he's the father of May Queen, who was our first national winner. And then this year, his grandson bred Ricky Turner's national winner a few weeks ago. So he's now responsible for 2 national winners, so sire and great-grandsire to 2 national winners.
Right, there you go, guys. Take it in. You're seeing a super breeder right there. Not only a super breeder for those guys, but also Turner, winner. Same thing. Wins, wins, wins. Look at this. He's a super in the hands. Man, you know what? Send him on over. I'll take him. No problem. No problem. Come on, send him down. And you know what? He needs those 2 hens that you showed.
Yeah.
Send those as well, and I'll start breeding, and away I go. Guys, these are the pigeons you want right here. Speed, speed, and more speed. Leah, Troy's got something for us.
Troy's asking a question about your garlic and ginger. Is it fresh ginger and garlic that you're adding?
Yeah, so it's so I buy it as a frozen block, and it's just I put one into the drinker and it melts away obviously into. So it's like a pulp. It's been pulped into a block and frozen. Just put one frozen block into the water and obviously just let them dissolve. So yeah, that's it. It's very simple.
And Flick a Ghost is asking, what is the garlic and ginger used for? Why do you think that benefits their health?
Well, again, obviously, garlic is obviously helps with pigeons' health and obviously for the immune system and obviously for the skin and for the blood purification. So, and the ginger obviously has other qualities that bring the goodness to the body. So, I just feel that you've got to give them everything they need. They can't go to the cupboard and sort of pick it up themselves and like we do, So the more we do for them, the more they're going to give back to you. And I think that if you can sort of make your life easier by making their life easier, they repay you in more ways than one.
I couldn't agree more. Mike Parrish is asking, in distance, what is considered a sprint race for you all there?
Oh, again, I mean, we were in one of the federations we're the shortest flyer, and one of them we're the longest flyer. So, I mean, obviously we race from 50 miles to 220 mile. We haven't gone that far as yet. We will do in the next couple of weeks, but the most we've been at the moment is 180 miles. So, but again, I mean, a pigeon, again, in our opinion, is obviously, you know, sprinting up until probably 250, 300 mile, you know. So that's where we feel we need to be with our family of pigeons.
Super. Flick a Ghost asks, what is the most frequent thing you treat for? What is your nemesis? What is the one thing you're like, oh my God, I do everything, it just keeps coming? What is the one thing?
Again, as I said, I treat my old birds the same as my youngsters. They get all the, you know, the normal treatments up until the first race, and then I'm finished. Unless there's a problem during racing. But I think if you've covered all them bases, and then your pigeons are in super form and super health, they shouldn't get ill. You know, like, you know, if you're feeling great yourself, and you know, you've got no, you know, you don't generally get ill. It's when you're down and and you're not feeling great, which you get sick or illness come in. And our pigeons no different, in my opinion.
And guys, I'm going to tell you,
Go ahead.
you notice this. You notice this by watching them when you're feeding, watching them offline, watching them if you train them, watch how they act, and look at your results. If you're being very consistent every day of the week, putting in that time, and your birds are doing well, and then all of a sudden she falls off, you might see there's a problem in there. But if you're real consistent and those birds are healthy when you start, you should be on the right road. I normally, when we fly here, it's the same thing. Once I got them healthy and right, I normally don't have a problem. But if they're not healthy and right, don't even start, because it's just a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah.
We're just going to get back to Trevor Calhill's comments. He is a specimen of a pigeon. I handle this pigeon. What is a pigeon? When I was at Darren and Josh, I think we're talking about Iron Man. Trevor obviously handled him and said he's a specimen. Ryan, I'm sure you handled him. You will agree.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you know what? He's producing the results. He's a super pigeon. He feels like a super, but what's the most important? He can handle great. He can look good, a nice big waddle and gorgeous eye. But if he don't produce, they don't want him, do you? You're looking for production.
No, we want supers and we want percentages. You know, we work, as Josh would tell you, we work on percentages of, obviously, breeders against winners. You know?
Yeah. Well, we're looking for like 93, 95% of winners from them. So obviously, only the best of the best get put in that elite section, and he's produced not just him breeding them, his children, his grandchildren breeding them, and he's responsible for 2 national winners now. So that's one of the most prestigious races you can get in the UK, and he's bred 2 of them.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Amazing. Round of applause. I mean, amazing. Amazing breeding, amazing quality, amazing references, amazing results. I don't even know what to say here. Amazing. I want to talk about your Van Loons because we have a huge following here in North America for original Van Loons. And I want to talk about your Van Loons for just a brief moment. Let's talk about them. I'm going to show a little video in the bottom. I'm sure you guys can see it. How did you get in touch with Louis Van Loon, and tell us how this happened?
Obviously, many years ago, back in the late 80s, early 90s, we was lucky enough to go to Louis. But yeah, my dad sort of struck up a great friendship. They couldn't speak a word of English or Flemish to each other, but you know, they got on really well, and his daughter Anne sort of, you know, helped us get the pigeons, and we had some fantastic results with them back in the sort of the 90s and early 2000s. You know, I think three national winners, classic winners, combine winners, 8,000 pigeons. So we was lucky. They was fantastic pigeons. And then when me and my dad parted from the sport in 2007, we sold most of the pigeons, but we'd ordered a round of youngsters, which we'd totally forgot with obviously with Louis and with Anne, and we got a phone call in 2008 to say the youngsters were ready. So we honoured it. We went and got them. Unfortunately, they was wasted. They sat in an aviary when we wasn't obviously in the sport. And a few of the originals are still here. You know, they're obviously old now. You can see on the video there, but they're fantastic. They're with everything that we've bred since around 2016 been kept. So we've got all the children, and we're sort of cultivating a family to try and keep the family alive. Obviously, Louis sadly is obviously dead now, and I think the pigeons that were left have obviously been scattered around the world. But we're lucky enough to have a few of the originals left. Some are obviously still filling, some are not. The ones that are not, they're in the pensioners section. They get to live their life out here. But everything, as I said, everything that we've bred from them is here, and they're phenomenal pigeons. You know, the results, not just what we achieved with them, what other people around the world have achieved as well. You know, but unfortunately, the age of them, you know, the family just waters down every year. But we're lucky that two of the old cocks are still filling. So we put them with young hens. So we're still in a good place at the moment with them.
And before
Yeah.
Ryan interjects, I just want to say when Ryan came to visit you, I think it was like half the day in, he called me up and he said, Leah, they have original Van Loons. And we were we were super excited about that because in North America, we love the Louis Van Loons. And Ryan was so impressed by your collection and so impressed of the quality of it that he had to just call me straight away, whether he was in the bathroom, I'm not sure, but he was like, they have original Louis Van Loons. And I just wanted to share with our North American friends and family the quality that you guys have in these Van Loons. Ryan, go ahead.
You see it in that video there of me holding that pigeon. He was a 12 out of 10. I think he's a 2008 or two. I think he was a 2008 pigeon.
Yeah.
He was built the way a pigeon should be built. He didn't feel old. And they have the look, nice eyes, nice bodies, well put together. A little bit different style of pigeon than the maize pigeons now. A little longer, a little smaller, but super in the hands. I was lucky to handle such great pigeons. That was a real treat, and I'm happy you guys kept them. I don't know, if you are going to race out of them or what you're going to do, but
Yeah.
A real nice candy shop there, boy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Listen, they're to handle an original Louis Van Loon. I shouldn't think there's too many left now, but they are a different type of pigeon to what we've got. We've only raced a couple in the few last season and had some good results with them. We've trying to cultivate and keep the family as one, but we will. I've got a few this year. My dad's took a few around to obviously start to race. So now we've got enough in the candy store. We're gonna try and sort of put a few on the road and see what we can do. But again, they're very sure that they'll do well again.
Hey, you know what? It was just a nice treat, and I want to thank you for taking the time for showing us that. That was a real highlight. I mean, hey, all your birds are super nice, but that was again the little bit of candy at the end,
That was a
So
treat.
it was a treat. Leah, what do we got for questions?
I just want to say I think it's absolutely amazing that you are taking such an old line, old strain, and you are cultivating them and trying to work them into your own family. Keep the strain going, keep the bloodlines going, keep our heroes of the sport alive. And I think it's amazing that you're doing that with the Van Loons. Just want to give you
Yeah,
those props. Amazing. Keep going, keep producing, keep making them strong because I think it's brilliant.
yeah. I think obviously obviously sadly, as I said, Louis is obviously not with us no more. But so the family will only go one way and die. So for us, they were good pigeons for us today, and I'm sure they're going to be just as good once we get a team of them on the road. So yeah, we want to keep them alive, and hence why we've done what we've done. So yeah, hopefully we'll be in a good place.
Yeah, amazing. Bill Gilmore is asking, do you prefer hens or cocks?
Don't mind, do we?
No. Winners.
Winners. We don't.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're looking for winners, and as I say, we will race our hens and cocks in the same race, and then come together, and we'll have cocks and hens on the drop together. For us, it doesn't matter. No, just obviously good fast pigeons and winning pigeons.
Perfect answer. Josh, I ask all of our breeders, and I'm going to ask you because you're the youngest breeder I've ever represented. I'm going to ask you, what is your greatest love of this sport? What do you love most? And how, as a young person, can we introduce more young people into this amazing sport? What do you love most, and how can we promote it to young people? What do you think, Josh?
I love the sport in general. The pigeons themselves, the thrill of racing, the breeding side, and seeing the pigeons mature. There's so many good aspects to it. I think that it needs to be promoted, the sport, for younger people. You need something which is going to get them away from video games. With myself, I play video games, but a lot of the time I'd rather be out with the pigeons. But you need that incentive to give the young people to put the Xbox, PlayStation down for a bit and go and see the pigeons. And I think at the minute the sport is it's an expensive sport. You've got to buy some corn, you buy some pigeons, you enter the race. It works out a lot of money for someone if you're racing my age by yourself. And there needs to be some more financial incentive in the sport so that it's not just payout for people, even if prize money, if they can go and win a car in a race like you used to be able to, just something that will give them, they have a chance of getting back from what they have to outlay.
And I think
I
that's an
agree.
excellent, excellent answer. And I know you said you participate in video game. I know gaming is a big thing with our younger folk. Do you prefer winning in a video game or prefer winning in a pigeon race? What gives you
Pigeon,
more satisfaction?
pigeon race, 100%. The pigeon race is real. The video game isn't.
And do you think it's because of that human animal interaction and the fact that you're able to make these beautiful creatures do what you want them to do? It's like a team effort, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's a little team effort, and I love seeing all of their little personalities. They're all individuals. They've all got different personalities, and they all tell you different things. And yeah, it's a great sport.
It is a great sport. And Darren, I'm sure you learned it from your father, but you have done an amazing job of introducing this sport to your children. We see Josh, who is an excellent example of young people in the sport. You're now, your young daughter, you're getting her in the sport. What advice do you have for fanciers who are trying to introduce their children into this sport? How do you do it successfully? Because you've succeeded. You've got a superstar right beside you.
Yeah, obviously, thank you. Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, when I was younger, a lot of the times, my dad obviously encouraged me to go into the business. Just talking to some people, like that haven't, they go, how have you got obviously Josh involved, and now obviously Ellie's, she comes out there, she gets a scraper out, she starts to clean it out, and she's interested and wants to carry drinkers, etc. But so how do you do it? Because I think that don't discourage them from doing anything. Although sometimes I want to get that done, and I want to do. I never discourage them. I'm always like, okay, even if it's sort of messes up your routine of what you're trying to do. I think the first time that you go, oh, geez, don't do that, get out. I think that's the end of their interest, and I think that for me, obviously, I've always sort of embraced that. Them sort of if you're falling over them while you're trying to do certain things, but if you bear with it, I think that then the love comes back to the pigeons, and obviously Josh is obviously an example, a prime example of that. He's obviously could have obviously sit and play more games, but he doesn't. He chooses to do the pigeons. Obviously, we've done something right, but I think the more that you encourage and not sort of say, well, stay away, don't do this, because a lot of the time we do that. But I think that I just encourage to, like I was with my dad.
And you have
You know,
done an exceptional job. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry, I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
remember, guys, kids, when they play video games, they can die in the game or they can lose the game, and they don't get yelled at. There's no rules. When you go into the pigeon loft, lay off with the rules at first. Let them go in and let them play around a little bit and enjoy the pigeons. Start to love the pigeons, and once they love the pigeons and they understand what the game is, then you can start to say, hey, okay, well, we want to win. Then you start to give the rules, but you've got to get them to fall in love with it. Why are video games so easy to fall in love with? Because there's no rules. You play, you have fun, your parents don't yell at you.
Yeah.
Let them fall in love.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Leah.
And you guys have done, you, Darren, and your father, Mr. May, have done a fantastic job at that. I am inspired by you guys. Josh, amazing. I inspire every young person who might be, dabbling in pigeon racing. Take a look at Josh. He is amazing. He loves them. He races them. He knows them. I mean, Josh, you're an inspiration. And Darren, you're an inspiration for getting your family involved. And your father is an inspiration because this is how this sport grows. You have to keep the love alive, right, Ryan?
You got to keep her going, Leah. Keep her going, as I say. Keep the love.
Yeah. Exactly.
A great show today. We want to thank Darren and Josh May for all of their advice and their tips and their tricks and answering your questions and showing us their superstars. If you guys want more information on the maze, you can visit our website, fepa.ca, fepauk.com, feathersleypigeonauctions.com. We have their loft tour. We have their sit-down interview. We will be doing a breeder information article for you on the maze, written by Lee Fribben. So we're super excited about that. We want you guys to follow the maze along on their journey. Please, how do they follow you? I know you have a website. You're on Facebook. Let everybody know, besides our website, how they can follow you.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, so May Pigeons Racing and Breeding Centre, that's our Facebook, and then we're on Instagram as well as May Pigeons. So either of those, that's our social media. So all information about our results, any references, any sort of pigeons, that'll all be on there. So.
Perfect. Van Loons, question for you. Do you think we can get some Van Loons to bring here to Canada? Because we have so many people asking for them. Not to put you on the spot, but as soon as I mentioned Van Loons back in February, people were like, when are they coming? When are the Van Loons coming? Do you think we could put something together, a little package for our North
Yeah.
American clientele for some Van Loons?
Yeah, I think we can do something. Yeah, we can get some fans.
No pressure. No pressure. No pressure.
Hey, Leah. Before we wrap this up, I just want to say, from what I'm hearing in the UK, they're asking, can you guys ease up on the winning? Could you let some other people win? You keep destroying the competition, and then they're mad. Don't sell any more kits to people because the people with the kits are winning. You guys got to just shut her down for a while. Let some other people win. These two gentlemen are amazing. Again, I didn't say it enough, but I want to thank you guys very much for having me at your place for those few days we taped. It was awesome. The auction was fun. I never felt so comfortable. You guys are first class. Your pigeons are first class. And I think the show was great. Leah,
It was,
the
fantastic. The
giveaway
giveaway was great.
Great
Congratulations to Andy Cook for winning that beautiful book from Lee Fribbins. We're going to get your information. I know, Ryan, when you went in February, you were like, I'm not quite sure who these people are, but Derek Walsh recommended me, and I'm going to go there. And within a half hour, I'm not kidding you, Darren and Josh, he called me up and said, nailed it. Derek Walsh nailed it.
Super.
Because
Thanks.
you guys are awesome,
Super.
and we want to thank you guys so much. And thank
Listen.
you, Darren, for promoting this sport and for bringing your children into it and for getting them involved and for keeping this sport growing. I can't tell you how important that is. And I want to thank you for doing that.
Yeah, listen, obviously for me, obviously it's sort of been in the family for obviously my dad's generation, and obviously for me, and I want it to continue through my family. You know, when obviously I'm not here, so hopefully, Josh, obviously when he finally finds his lady of his life and he has children, that they obviously sport as well. So just keep the pigeon, keep pigeon racing alive and well in the UK. So hopefully, we'll be in a good place. We're trying our best anyway.
You're doing a
All
great
right.
job, and we would like to, if it would be okay, if we could check back with you in end of August, beginning of
Yeah,
September, and see how your season went. Would that be okay with you?
yeah, that'd be perfect. It'd be great to see you. Great to talk to
Yeah, we would love to keep in contact. I'm going to sign off, and then Ryan will. I want to thank you guys so much for your contribution to this channel. Want to thank everybody who posted their question and comments. Keep promoting the sport. Like, share, and subscribe our page. You never know who might catch the racing pigeon bug. Darren, you're doing an awesome job with your
Thank you.
kids. I want to thank you so much for doing that. Josh, I can't wait to represent you 40 years from now and sell your pigeons. You are incredible. My jaw dropped the first time I talked to you and your knowledge. I was astounded. You could teach many old folks over here how it's done. I'm so impressed by you guys. Thank you so much. Ryan, wrap it up.
Hey, Darren, Josh, you guys keep doing what you're doing. And guys, when you purchase pigeons from the mange, you will be happy. They will give you the tools to do it, and they'll give you a little bit of luck. Just trust in their pigeons. They're great guys, great pigeon men, great pigeon fingers and knowledge. And you know what? There's nothing more that they want to see than you win with their pigeons. And all they ask is just send them a little message with the results. Darren, Josh, remember, if you're not first, you're last,
Last.
as Ricky Bobby would say. And you guys are definitely not last. Good luck in the up and coming weeks. Enjoyed crossing over the water. And just send that bird over to me, no problems. You guys are awesome. Audience was great. Thanks for flying with us, guys. I got to go. Bye for now.